What's good? My name is Quick, the owner of Quick's Quality Motors. This is Quick's Whips, and today I'm going to teach you how to drive a stick shift. Yo, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share, and leave us a comment. We would greatly appreciate it. Good looking. So the first thing you're gonna notice when you get into a stick shift vehicle is that there's gonna be 3 pedals. To the far left, there's your clutch. In the middle, there's your brake. And then to the far right, there's gonna be your gas. You need to familiarize yourself with these 3 pedals. The next thing you wanna do is make sure your car isn't in gear. You need to apply the clutch to release the gear. Your gear shifter should move freely once it's in neutral. Neutral is in the middle. Without getting too technical, a clutch is a mechanism designed to discontinue the flow of power from the engine to the transmission without turning the car off. So the way this works, your clutch disc sits on top of your flywheel. Your flywheel is connected to the engine, and the transmission input shaft is connected to your clutch disc. This is all held together by a pressure plate and released by a diaphragm spring. So when you press in your clutch, you're actually releasing your clutch disc. What I recommend before even turning on the car is getting used to your gears. You need to push in your clutch while switching your gears. On top of your gear shifter, there should be a diagram to tell you exactly where your gear's at. This particular car has 5 gears and 1 reverse. Some have less, some have more. Make sure that you're pressing in the clutch when you're shifting the gears. Most stick shifts will not start if you don't engage the clutch. So to start the car, you want to push the clutch all the way down to the floor. You want to make sure that the car is not in gear and it's in neutral, and then you want to turn the key. You're going to keep the clutch pressed down while you're turning the key. To get started, you want to push the clutch all the way down to the ground. You want to put the car in first gear, and you want to slowly start to release the clutch. As you start to release the clutch, you will experience what they call clutch bite. Clutch bite is when your clutch disc engages your flywheel and the car starts to move. You want to also give it a little bit of gas. I recommend that you try this several times before trying to actually drive anywhere. That way, you can figure out where your clutch bite is at. If you give the car too much gas, it'll launch. And if you don't give the car enough gas, it'll cut off. Also, you should be on a flat surface and in a parking lot so that way you don't have many distractions. Getting out of first gear is the hardest part of driving a stick. Once you get comfortable getting out of first gear, drive it around for a little while in first gear, and then you want to learn how to transition into second gear. It's pretty much the same procedure. The only difference is that you're not at a stop. And when you're not at a stop, it's easier to shift the gears. So you just go from first to second, and then you want to slow down, stop, do it all over. And you want to practice doing that for a while. First gear is really just to get the car moving, like pulling out of a driveway, going up a hill, just getting the car started. I would say about 5 miles per hour, 10 miles tops. By the time you get to 10 miles per hour, you should be shifting into second gear. In second gear, you can really get the car rolling, probably up to 20, 30, maybe even 40, depending on what type of engine is in the car and how powerful the car is. You should probably do this for a while, just driving around in the parking lot, going from first to second. That way you can get used to coming to a complete stop without stalling the car. So the way you want to do that is you're going to be in first, you're going to be driving, you're going to go into second, you're going to roll, get it up to probably around 20 miles per hour or such, and then you're going to go ahead and start braking. You can brake all the way down to probably around 5 to 10 miles per hour in second gear. You're going to push down the clutch, come out of second, put it in neutral, and just come to a complete stop. Once you learn how to get from first to second and come to a complete stop without stalling the car, you pretty much know how to drive a stick. I mean, going from second to third to fourth is pretty much the same procedure. It's not going to be anything different. So you should be able to drive the vehicle. On a side note, whenever you're shifting while in motion, you want to lift your feet up off the gas. So when you're going from first to second, you're going to be driving, you're going to push in your clutch, you're going to let go of the gas, you're going to shift in the second, you're going to release your clutch, and then you're going to press the gas. When you first start driving a stick, you might be nervous, you might shift a little funny, you might stall a car a few times, your shifts might be clunky, but you'll learn over time and they'll get smoother. Sooner or later, you'll be able to drive it as good as you can drive an automatic. Now let's talk about reverse. And this car reverses all the way to the left past first gear. You'll have to pull it all the way over a little harder. You'll be able to feel it if you was in the car. Now, when you go in reverse, what you don't want to do is just pop the clutch. If you pop the clutch, the car will take off backwards. Popping the clutch is when you just release the clutch really fastly and give it gas. You want to kind of keep the clutch at its bite point, and you want to ease on the gas so that the car could back up slowly. And if you need to stop, you want to push the clutch in and then press the brakes. Some cars, when you put it in reverse, you won't have to give it any gas. As you release the clutch, it'll start to move. Here's what will happen if you pop the clutch when you're in reverse. Look how fast the car takes off. And here's the correct way to reverse. As you can see, that was nice and smooth, and I had full control of the vehicle. Now I'm going to go for a little ride. I want you to watch my hands and feet and see how I shift. Your shift should be nice and smooth. You don't want to pop the clutch, but at the same time, you don't want to hold the clutch in too long. You want a nice, smooth release after you shift in the gear. Starting from a complete stop on a hill is a hard task for most new drivers and very intimidating. I'm going to give you a little tip on how to get off of a hill when you're driving a stick. When you come to a stop in the stick and you press in the clutch, your car's in neutral. So when you take your feet off the brakes, the car will start to roll back some if you're on a hill. Here's when knowing where your clutch bite is at come in handy. If you was practicing in the parking lot like I told you, and you figured out where your clutch bite is at, it should be real easy for you to get off this hill. What you want to do is you want to start to release the clutch until you start to feel it bite. Once you start to feel the clutch bite, when you let your feet off the brake, the car should hold itself up because the car's actually trying to go forward. Only thing you would have to do after that is give the car a little bit of gas and continue to release the clutch. The car should start moving. I want to briefly talk about downshifting. When you're driving at a normal speed, you want to kind of downshift. Downshifting is when you go from like 4 to 3 to 2. And the reason why you want to do this is because then you will still have power and control of your vehicle. You can stop the car in neutral, but you won't have full control of your vehicle if you do that. So you want to learn how to downshift. Downshifting is basically just going back down the gears instead of going up the gears. So instead of going from 1, 2, 3, you're going 3, 2, 1. Learning to drive a stick is fun, engaging, and makes you feel like you're part of the vehicle. If you follow the instructions that we gave you in this video, you should have no problem learning how to drive a manual vehicle. Peace.